Hello, this is Michael Kinnett with iTernal Networks. On my last video, we talked about how the internet works and how networks work in general to help give you a better understanding for today's discussion, which is going into the dark web and what the dark web is. If you haven't watched the other video, I recommend you go back and watch it so that you have that foundational understanding of the internet for today's discussion. You probably hear a lot about the dark web in the news, different things with hackers, and it seems like a very, very scary place. So I wanted to talk about that to help you better understand what the dark web is and what the dark web isn't, and kind of what it means for you. So I'm going to start off, at a very high level. The dark web is part of the World Wide Web, part of the internet, that's only available through the use of special software. And this special software allows the content of the dark web to largely remain anonymous and untraceable. The special software bounces the traffic through multiple other networks to help hide the source and also the destination where the data is. You've probably seen in TV and movies where they're saying, oh, stay on the phone, we need to be able to find them, and they're bouncing it all over. Basically, that's kind of what these hackers do. What this software does is it bounces the traffic around to different nodes. I can sketch it out a little bit to kind of help you understand it better. So if this is a user that's trying to access the dark web through this special Tor software, right? Over here, this is the dark web, what they want to access, right? And they want to get from point A to point B. Well, the way to do that is they open this software on their computer that establishes these connections, and it goes from here to another computer, to another computer, to another computer, to another computer, and eventually, after several different connections, makes its way to the dark web. Meanwhile, hiding where it's coming from and where it's going. This makes it very hard for tracking, for law enforcement to do things and to be able to find, the criminals that are hosting the information, as well as those that are accessing it. Around 60% of the data on the dark web contains potentially harmful information for individuals or businesses. Information such as stolen login information, personal information, credit card details, etc. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll tell you how you can reach out and get a free report of the information for your business that's currently listed on the dark web. At the beginning, I said that the dark web was a part of the World Wide Web or the internet that's only available through the use of special software. The reason you need special software is because information on the dark web is masked or hidden from search engines. It's not registered through the domain name registration system. So if you want to find a website to buy stolen credit card numbers, Google's not going to help you. You can't go to stolencreditcards.com and place an order. However, with this special dark web software, you can gain access to sites that do exactly that. They sell stolen credentials, credit card numbers, identities, and much more on the dark web. And because of how the dark web's configured, it's much harder for law enforcement to track the criminal activity and put a stop to it. There's an image that I've seen all over in my search, in my research and everything on the dark web over the last several years. So I don't know where this graphic originally came from to provide proper credit, but it does a great job of showing what the dark web is. So, if you guys have heard glaciers, right? Only part of the glacier is actually above water. Most of the glacier is actually underwater. It's just like this with the dark web, right? So this glacier represents the World Wide Web, right? A very small percentage of it, only 4%, is actually above the surface of the water or searchable by the general public. The deep web is the next section. It's the largest section. It contains sites from the government, universities, research institutes, corporate servers, etc., that are only available with specific access credential. They're also not searchable to the public. All right, the dark web, the very deepest part of this glacier, is about 6% from various studies. And it's what contains illegal porn, drugs, hackers, criminal activity, stolen data, etc. And it requires additional special software to access it, but makes it generally available. So we're going to show, kind of help visualize what I'm talking about here with the dark web and the deep web. So if this is a user who wants to access the internet, right? If they want to go to Google, they can get directly to Google because it's public, right? If they want to get to the deep web, one of their corporate servers, a university, research institute, etc., they would have to go through a portal. So I'm just going to use UNLV. That's where I graduated. From Las Vegas. I will represent them. So if you wanted to access UNLV's content that's on the deep web, which is not publicly accessible, you have to have access through their gateway or through their site to be able to access it. So that means you have to be able to log in, you have to have credentials and permission to access it. So you would connect to what is publicly available, and then you'd have access to their deep web or their additional servers, websites, and information that's not publicly accessible. Just like this, right? Over here is the dark web. So if you want to access the dark web, the user has to connect through that special software. Tor, the Tor browser is the most common one. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So the user would go through that Tor network where their signals bounced around from different sites, different servers, to gain access to this dark web, which then has a lot more information that's not publicly accessible. All right, some additional facts about this. There are over 4.5 billion web pages on the standard internet, or the surface internet, that top 4% that's publicly available. The full internet, including the deep web and the dark web, is estimated to be 400 to 500 times larger. An analysis in 2019 of the dark web sites found that 50% of those sites included illicit materials. The dark web is estimated to hold approximately 75,000 terabytes of data. That's a lot of data. More than 2 million active users connect to the dark web through the Tor browser every day. The Tor browser is basically the gateway, that special software I mentioned to access the dark web. Tor's bandwidth capacity has increased in the year 2014 from 50 gigabits per second to approximately 300 gigabits per second in the year 2018. And the dark web use has increased over 300% in the last 3 years. It's also estimated that 2 to 5% of the global economy is laundered on the dark web each year. Cybercrimes in 2019 yielded in excess of $1.5 trillion in revenue from the dark web, and it's expected to increase. The markets found on the dark web deal in criminal services such as espionage, illegal collectibles or animals, credit card numbers, human trafficking, drugs, guns, counterfeit money, stolen goods, passwordless cybercrime software, cracked credentials, and other shady businesses. So this video was not intended to scare you, but to help you understand and to better educate you on what the dark web is and the threat that it is and it's out there. If you have any additional questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm very passionate about cybersecurity. I love talking to people and answering their questions about this. If you are interested in a free report showing what information is currently listed on the dark web for your business, please follow the link in the comments below and we'll get that free report over to you. I appreciate your time and hope to talk to you guys soon. Thank you.